one of the most important decisions that you can make is figuring out who you are and why you here and what is all this, right? What is this? Those are important questions. And those are the questions everybody's studying for these exams in school, thinking that's the most important. Those are important questions for sure. On the exam, however, there are some super duper questions that are even more important than those questions that actually will help you excel on those exams once you have your answers straight. Yeah? Let's keep going. Because it's the non-physical reality, essentially, or the non-physical space that is coming down to produce itself through us, right? It already exists in the ethers. It's already up there. All the ideas that were ever thought have already been thought, and that's why they say there's nothing new under the sun. This is a intense chapter, y'all. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. It's Lit Chat Lounge. You know, the hottest podcast for mindset development. Okay. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Peace, blessings, and mercy be unto you. What's up, everybody? It's your girl, Khadijah Toto. And we're back. We're back. It's happy Monday, everyone. We definitely took this weekend off. I thought I wanted to do one this weekend, and I was like, nah, let's stick to regular programming and regular scheduling. All right, so let's get into it. So the last chapter that we read was chapter 7, and it was called You Are Standing on the Leading Edge of Thought. And some of the highlighted points that we had was how we are in the stream of well-being and how we are not separated from God, right? And we're constantly talking about the art of allowing, right? The art of allowing and also resistance, right? Because anytime you have a stream of allowing something, you also have a stream of resisting something, right? And so you either get the results of allowing or you get the results of resisting. And it's really essentially up to us, and we have the power to create because we are the deliberate creators of our own realities. We also talked about how it's like a dam blocking the water, so you choose to lift it or block it, right? So you choose to lift the dam, and that dam could be the power of your thought, right? If you are resisting, you're putting that dam down, and if you are allowing, you're lifting the dam up, okay? And remember, we're not talking about allowing in terms of accepting or rejecting ideas and thoughts. We're talking about allowing and resistance in terms of what your desire is. And when the law of attraction does activate its way into your life, the way that you allow the things to come to you or you resist it, because you have to understand that all the things are happening to enable whatever needs to happen to get you to your desired goal to happen. And whether it's ugly or whether it's beautiful, you have to remain steadfast in what that desire is that you want, and understand and know and believe that that is what is coming. So let's go ahead and get into chapter 8. Let's get straight into the reading. Chapter 8, you are a vibrational transmitter and receiver. Now you are ready to understand the most influential part of controlling, creating, and enjoying your physical life experience. Even more than the material being that you have come to know as you are a vibrational being. When someone looks at you, they see you with their eyes and hear you with their ears, but you are presenting yourself to them and to the universe in a much more emphatic way than can be seen or heard. You are a vibrational transmitter, and you are broadcasting your signal in every moment of your existence. As you are focused in this physical body, and while you are awake, you are constantly projecting a very specific, easily identifiable signal that is instantly received, understood, and answered. Immediately, your present and future circumstances begin to change in response to the signal you are now offering. And so, the entire universe right now is affected by what you are offering. You are an eternal personality focusing in the now. Your world, present and future, is directly and specifically affected by the signal that you are now transmitting. The personality that is you is really an eternal personality, but who you are right now and what you are thinking right now is causing a focusing of energy that is very powerful. This energy that you are focusing is the same energy that creates worlds, and it is, in this very moment, creating your world. You have a built-in, easy-to-understand guidance system within you with indicators that help you understand the strength or power of your signal, as well as the direction of your focus. And most important, it is this very same guidance system that helps you understand the alignment of your chosen thought with the energy stream itself. Your feelings are the representatives of your guidance system. In other words, the way you feel is your true indicator of your alignment with your source and of your alignment with your own intentions, both pre-birth and currently. Your powerful beliefs were once gentle thoughts. Every thought that has ever been thought still exists. And whenever you focus upon a thought, you activate the vibration of that thought within you. So whatever you are currently giving your attention to is an activated thought. But when you turn your attention away from a thought, it becomes dormant or no longer active. The only way to consciously deactivate a thought is to activate another. In other words, the only way to deliberately withdraw your attention from one thought is to give your attention to another. When you give your attention to anything, the vibration at first is not very strong. But if you continue to think about it or speak about it, the vibration gets stronger. So with enough attention to any subject, it can become a dominant thought. As you give more and more attention to any thought, and as you focus upon it, and therefore practice the vibration of it, the thought becomes an even bigger part of your vibration. And you could now call this practice thought a belief. The longer you think thoughts, the stronger they become. Because the law of attraction is behind the expansion of your thoughts, it is not possible to give your attention to something without achieving an alignment with it to some degree. And so, the longer you ponder the thought and the more frequently you return to the thought, the stronger your vibrational alignment becomes. As you achieve a stronger alignment with any thought, you then begin to feel emotions that indicate your increased or decreased alignment with your own source. In other words, as you give more of your attention to any subject, your emotional reading of either harmony or disharmony with who you really are becomes stronger. If the subject of your attention is in alignment with what the source of your being knows, you would feel the harmony of your thoughts in the form of good feelings. But if the subject of your attention is not in alignment with what your source knows it to be, you would feel the disharmony of your thoughts in the form of bad feelings. Your attention to it invites it in. Every thought that you give your attention to expands and becomes a bigger part of your vibrational mix. Whether it is a thought of something you want or a thought of something you do not want, your attention to it invites it into your experience. Since this is an attraction-based universe, there is no such thing as exclusion. Everything is about inclusion. So when you see something that you would like to experience and you focus upon it, shouting yes to it, you include it in your experience. But when you see something that you would not want to experience and you focus upon it, shouting no at it, you also include that in your experience. You do not invite it in with your yes and exclude it with your no, because there is no exclusion in this attraction-based universe. Your focus is the invitation. Let me say that again. Your focus is the invitation. I know y'all know we're going to talk about that, okay? Your attention to it is the invitation. And so, those who are mostly observers thrive in good times, but suffer in bad times because what they are observing is already vibrating. And as they observe it, they include it in their vibrational countenance. And as they include it, the universe accepts it that as their point of attraction and gives them more of the essence of it. We are going to talk about that and what that means. We are almost finished. So for an observer, the better it gets, the better it gets. Or the worse it gets, the worse it gets. However, one who is a visionary thrives in all times. Whether you're practiced attention to any subject, with your practiced attention to any subject, the law of attraction delivers circumstances, conditions, experiences, other people, and all manner of things that match your habitual dominant vibration. And as things begin to manifest around you that match the thoughts you have been holding, you now develop stronger and stronger vibrational habits or proclivities. And so your once small and insignificant thought has now evolved into a powerful belief. And your powerful beliefs will always be played out in your experience. So in this 4-page chapter, there are a lot of different discoveries inside of here. Per usual, I'm going to highlight the key points that I think really stick out in this chapter. However, I also want you all to tell me what sticks out for you in the comment section. I also want you to tell me, were there any parts that maybe I didn't mention that really stuck out to you in different points? Because as we are able to talk about these things as a community and this is a lounge, right? So everybody's thought, right? And the parts of it, and like they said, the attention to, right, is going to be different because we are all vibrating at different vibrational points, right? And so it will be nice to see what resonates with you all, as well as, of course, I'm going to tell you what resonates with me because it's Lit Chat Lounge. I'm the podcast host. So this is what we're going to do. So I would love to hear what you all think. So let's go ahead and get on the first page of this 4-page chapter that's super duper dense and concentrated like we discussed before. So the first thing that I wanted to do is go to the glossary, because one of the words that keep coming up despite everything is vibrational being. Okay, so we're going to look up vibrational and we're going to look up being. She did not attribute a specific definition for vibrational being, but she has a definition for vibrational and she has a definition for being. So we're going to go ahead and check that out. We'll start off with vibrational, and we'll also talk about what the guidance system is as well, because she talks about guidance system quite a bit. So vibration is the response of harmony or discord of all things to all things. Okay? So the response of harmony or discord of all things to all things. So essentially what that means is we're all responding to something, right? So for example, if I drink orange juice, right? Simple concept. I drink orange juice. Either my body is going to respond great to it and absorb the vitamin C and all the nutrients, or what if I'm allergic to orange juice, right? My body's going to act in disharmony to the nutrients and all that stuff. I might have to get my vitamin C through a different source, such as carrots instead, or, something else that has vitamin C in it. Maybe my body's not in harmony with it, right? So you're always responding to something. I just gave an example of food because it's something that we consume that our bodies respond well to, right? And so we're always in harmony, in flow with it, or we're not in harmony with it. All right. So that's vibration. And then being says source energy that is focused into a definite perspective. Non-physical being is consciousness perceiving from non-physical perspective. Physical being or human being is non-physical energy perceiving through the physical perspective. All right. So essentially what that means and what she's saying is that the source energy is focusing. So just as we focus our attention, source energy is focusing its attention through us. Okay. Source energy is focusing its attention through us. Okay. Now, the non-physical being is consciousness. Okay. So consciousness is focusing itself through us, perceiving from non-physical perspective, right? So the non-physical is judging from the non-physical space, right? It's perceiving from non-physical space. Now, us as a physical human being, the non-physical energy is perceiving through the physical perspective because we are physical human beings. So kind of similar to what she said when we are being transmitters, right? We're receiving the information, and the information that we are receiving, right? This is all her theory. This is not me. I'm explaining the concepts that I understand that she's saying, okay? So don't think, Khadijah said X, Y, and Z. No, Khadijah is interpreting what she is perceiving, okay, what she's perceiving through this book. And what I'm perceiving through this book of what she's saying, and Esther can correct me if I'm wrong, but what she's saying is that the physical or human being is non-physical energy, okay? So we are the physical version of non-physical, okay? That's why we can touch it. We can, a thought turns into a physical being, right? Thought, I want a baby so bad, and boom, right? There's your baby, there's your thought. You focus your attention upon it, right? And so she says energy perceiving, okay, so is non-physical energy perceiving through a physical perspective. Why do we have a physical perspective? Because we are physical beings, okay, and that's just as simple as that. So consciousness, which is non-physical, is flowing through us, focusing its attention on us, through us, and whatever it is that we are perceiving, which is coming through from non-physical, we are transmitting and understanding in the ways that we know how as a physical being, meaning a being that is here, that's tangible. You can touch me, right? You can touch my body, right? You can touch the parts, right? This is physical, right? This is physical. Oh, I have an idea. That's non-physical, right? I have an epiphany. I have a thought. I have a dream. That's non-physical, okay? Now, when we focus our idea upon that, it increases the substance of what is. And when that increase of substance, meaning the increase of substance, when I say that, I mean the increased focused attention upon that one thing, right? That one idea or that one thing, you are consistently adding the substance to it, right? It's kind of like the science of getting rich, which I think that might be our next book. I was thinking about Think and Grow Rich, but I really like the science of getting rich better. So, and it's short too. We'll see. But the point is that it's about collecting that substance and making it real into this physical reality, because it's the non-physical reality, essentially, or the non-physical space that is coming down to produce itself through us, right? It already exists in the ethers. It's already up there. All the ideas that were ever thought have already been thought. And that's why they say there's nothing new under the sun. Because the sun, whatever is underneath the sun is just a reflection of everything that's already existed. Every thought that's ever been thought. Everything, some people die with their dreams and their hopes and aspirations. And guess what? The dreams and ideas don't die. The person does. The person dies and doesn't even die with that dream and aspiration, because guess what? All the things that they didn't catch, it goes into another being. It goes into somebody else's constantly perceiving it and understanding it and knowing what that is. Even if they don't know that the thought that they're thinking isn't actually original. This was actually somebody else's idea, but I picked it up in my consciousness and the perception of who I am. Okay? So I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't make sense, let me know in the comments. All right, so let's keep going. I love these definitions and I love going through these. Okay, so she talks about you are a vibrational transmitter and you are broadcasting your signal in every moment of your existence. Okay, so through law of attraction and by law of attraction, which is the law of the universe, right? These aren't laws that I made up. These are laws of the universe, right? We're constantly transmitting out and receiving in, right? And so that's why they say thoughts become things, right? Because what are we transmitting our thought into? Is it something that's currently not here that we're bringing about into this reality, right? What is it that we are doing that we're bringing about into this thing called life? That's something to think about. And as we're transmitting, the question that I would even ask everyone is, what are you transmitting? Okay? What kind of signals are you putting out there? Right? What kind of signals are you putting out there? What kind of messages are you even unconsciously asking for? Okay? Because that's going to go with your desires and your alignment of your harmony or disharmony that we spoke about earlier when we talked about vibration, right? The next thing, she talks about the guidance system, and I also wanted to look up that definition for you all too. It's in the back of the book. The glossary that I'm using is in the back of the book, y'all. So the guidance system, the comparative feeling of your energetic state of being when you are aligned with your source or when you are not aligned with your source. Okay, it says the comparative feeling of your energetic state of being when you are aligned or not aligned with your source. Okay, so it's just the feeling, how you feel. Are you aligned with source or are you not aligned? And typically, if you're aligned with source, you're going to feel good. And if you're not aligned with source, you're not going to feel so good. Okay, that's typical what she's saying. However, I would like to challenge her belief and her thought on that specific manner. But that's something I'm going to save for Esther when one day she actually comes on here, okay? And we have a good, nice conversation. I want to ask her, because my question is if you have a definite definition of what good is and what bad is, right? And you don't care about good or bad, right? Then you might feel good doing bad things. And you might feel bad doing good things, because you've been programmed in a specific way, right? And so it feels good to get back at somebody and being vengeful. Like, yeah, I feel good. My emotional guidance system is telling me that this venge was well-deserved. I am karma in human form, and I'm not good karma in human form, right? And so if that feels good to someone, is that in vibrational alignment, right? Clearly not for the other person, but for the person who's doing it, I mean, So my question to her would be, how do we use the guidance system and be consciously aware of the guidance system and understand that there is a such thing as good and there is a such thing as bad? Because good and bad are not human concepts, okay? Either we're aligning to the source or we're not aligning to the source. And in my opinion, anything that causes destruction, we're always aligning to the source. That's all I'm going to say. We're always aligning to ourselves to the source. And that's what she also says as well, is we're constantly getting in our desired state. However, what happens when there's a desired state that's not so good, right? But are we focusing our attention on that state that's not so good, right? So these are just points to think about. Tell me your opinion and what you all think in the comments. I'm going to try to keep this evaluation quite short. It says that your feelings are the representatives of your guidance system. In other words, the way you feel is your true indicator of alignment with your source and of your alignment with your own intentions, both pre-birth and currently. Okay, so that's essentially what we just spoke on. One part that I really loved is in the next section of this chapter of your powerful beliefs were once gentle thoughts. It says, so whatever you are currently giving your attention to is an activated thought. But when you turn your attention away from a thought, it becomes dormant or no longer active. The only way to consciously deactivate a thought is to activate another. In other words, the only way to deliberately withdraw your attention from one thought is to give your attention to another. And this reminds me of when Jesus says in the Bible, he says, turn the other cheek. Turn the other cheek. Just turn the other cheek. And a lot of people are like, yeah, so you can get slapped on the other side of the face. And it's like, no, turn the other cheek, because what you're focusing your attention on in that given time and moment is not worth the time and energy, right? It's not worth the time and energy. So just turn your attention away from that which is not good and focus on something else. Put your focused energy. We all have energy, and in this world, and especially it's seen and played out on media, is what are you even giving your attention to on media? The perfect indicator of what that looks like is, what is your algorithm doing? A lot of people have different algorithms. That's what makes media so powerful, is what are you turning your attention to? And not only what, but who are you turning your attention to on a consistent basis? Because that matters. What you turn your attention to is what you become. Okay? And it's not that you're duplicating yourself or whatever. It's about the substance, right? Remember, we're transmitters. So what we are putting off is also what we are also receiving. So if I strive for the highest thought, if I strive for the highest idea and vibration and creation, right? I'm going to consistently be getting that. But if I'm consistently consuming something that's degrading me, something that's not making me feel good, something that's telling me I'm not something that I know that I'm not, something that's abusing me, something that's verbally abusive to me, something that's not allowing me to grow, then that you're going to become stagnant. You're going to disintegrate. You're going to break yourself down, right? And our goal, hopefully, my goal at least, is for us to grow, right? The whole point of self-development, right, is to grow and to become better human beings for other human beings, for other generations, so we can continue this. We are passing this life of legacy on to the next generation through our ideas, through our understandings, through our current understandings and teachings. And someday, this will be normal information. It won't sound like profound thought. Like, oh my gosh, this is so profound. I never heard of anything like this in my life. No, this is a starting point of another generation. This discovery is a starting point of another. This is going to be normal knowledge at one point in time. And the fact that it's not normal knowledge right now shows us where we are in place and time. Does it make sense? Right. So we're constantly evolving. She talks about any subject becoming your dominant thought, and the thought becomes even bigger part of your vibration, and you can now call this practice thought a belief. I love how she defines a belief as a practice thought, because essentially it is. You believe it to be true, even if it's physically not true, even if it hasn't happened yet, right? It's a practice thought. That's why affirmations are so important. It's not about, oh, I'm telling myself something that I'm not, or I need to fix my self-image for X, Y, and Z. No. It's about practicing a thought. And because of how the attention is brought about to it, how the attention is brought about to the thought, that's what makes the thought so powerful. That's what makes the affirmation come true. That's what makes you truly believe it. Because if I keep telling myself over and over, even if I don't believe it, I don't believe this at first. I don't believe that. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. But I'm still saying it. So because I'm practicing the same thought over and over and over again, I'm healthy, I'm healthy, I'm healthy, I'm healthy, I'm healthy. I start to do healthy things automatically. I start to push away a few of those sweets, or I start to push away, maybe I'm putting more vegetables in my body. Maybe I'm putting more healthy juices in my body. I'm not even thinking about it at this point. It's just happening automatically because I'm healthy, I'm healthy, I'm healthy, I'm healthy, I'm healthy. Right? My actions are going to start aligning with the thought. Right? And so that's why it's important to watch your thoughts. Watch what you're feeding yourself. And what I mean by that is what you're feeding yourself physically, yes, in the physical reality, but also what you are feeding yourself in your mental reality. Because this imagination, this picture hub where we are the artists of our life, and we create and paint these beautiful pictures of our mind that we then manifest out into reality. This thing right here is very precious. This cranium, this brain of ours, very beautiful. Very beautiful. That's why so many people are fighting for our attention. That's why the media does as much as it can to feed you with different kinds of information. It's everybody fighting over getting the most people's attention. How can I get the most people followers? How can I get the most, oh my gosh, how can the attention be on me? Right? That's everybody's, how can the attention be on me? Right? Some people want the attention on them. Some people want the attention on the cause. Some people want the attention on the philosophy. Some people want the attention on the collective. Right? What is the attention on? And that's what you're constantly choosing. By you watching this channel, you're giving me attention. And guess what? As you're streaming on YouTube and all that stuff, people are getting paid for the amount of attention that they're catching. And so that's why you see people acting crazy. You see people acting wild because they think that's what gets them the most attention. But to me, it's important to what kind of attention are you getting? Right? Are you getting the attention because you're being a decent human being that cares about society? Or are you getting attention because you're acting like a complete Neanderthal and acting like you have no sense of the world and what's around you? Right? There's nothing wrong with growing. There's nothing wrong with being who you are right now. And if you're not in a space to take your life serious and to, because it takes time to get to, to this point of understanding and realizing, oh, snap, life, I'm the creator of my reality. I'm deliberate. I'm consciously choosing what it is that I want. Okay, what is it that I want? Who am I? Wait a minute. Who when I'm praying, who am I praying to? What am I doing? What is prayer? What is, right? You start to ask all these different questions because life is becoming more serious to you. I'm not going to tell you the answers to those. Those are answers that you have to seek out for yourself. I'm not going to tell you what religion is the best religion. I'm not going to tell you what if you want to know what I've chosen in my life, I can tell you what I've chosen and why I've chosen that. However, you need to take that journey by yourself. One of the most important decisions that you can make is figuring out who you are and why you here and what is all this, right? What is this? Those are important questions. Those are the questions. Everybody's studying for these exams in school thinking that's the most important. Those are important questions for sure. On the exam, however, there are some super duper questions that are even more important than those questions that actually will help you excel on those exams once you have your answers straight. Yeah? Let's keep going. The other part, I talk about harmony, disharmony. We already talked about that. Your intention invites it to the experience. Okay, so this is huge, okay? This is huge. It says, your attention invites it to the experience. Since it's an attraction-based universe, there's no such thing as exclusion. Your focus is the invitation, okay? So whatever you're focusing on is going to manifest itself. It is going to manifest itself. So be careful where you're giving your attention to. Even the things that you want and that you don't want, you're also focusing yourself on not wanting it, and therefore you're feeding into the substance of the reality of that thing coming about. So instead of focusing on, oh my gosh, I'm so sick, I'm so sick, I'm so sick. Oh my gosh, I don't feel good. I have a story for you really quick. So during them 2020 years, you remember when that big pandemic happened? Yeah, well, I think that my household got something. And my temperature shot up all the way to 103 degrees. And some people are like, oh my gosh, you need to go to the hospital. You need to do this and that. And I didn't feel anything. Because I told myself, I was like, whatever this is needs to pass. I am not giving my attention to it. I continued to function like nothing was happening. I had my little, I had my tissue for my nose, and was coughing and stuff, but I wasn't giving any attention to it. I was like, okay, and I'm going to continue to study. I'm going to continue to work. I'm going to continue to put my thoughts and ideas into all these different things that I'm working on. I am not about to play this role of whatever this is that's trying to disrupt my physical being. 103 degrees Fahrenheit. You're like, you should have been in the hospital. For what? That's me. Now, I'm not telling nobody on this channel to do that. Don't do that. Do not do that. I understand certain principles, thoughts, and ideas, okay? Probably should have gone to the hospital, but I honestly could not feel anything. And the only reason that I did that was because I was like, you know what? Let me take my temperature. And it was like 101, and then I checked again. I was like, oh, I feel better, right? I feel great. I feel like nothing's wrong. And then I check again. It's 103 degrees. So I'm like, something's wrong with this, this thing. And I kept checking. It was 103 degrees. And then next day, it went down to like 98. So I don't know what it was. Something happened, but it was the power of my mind. It was me not accepting that. I rejected the whole thought. I was like, this is not my reality. I don't know whose reality this is, but it's not mine. And so I also like how she talks about, she says, the universe accepts their point of attraction, gives more essence to it. Okay, so it talks about an observer. It says, for an observer, the better it gets, the better it gets, or the worse it gets, the worse it gets. However, the one who is visionary thrives in all times. Okay, so if you're observing things, you're taking it in. And I used to be an observer. Okay, I used to be an observer, and I used to take these things in. And when it got great, right? Because you're absorbing all of that in. It's great. And when it got worse, it gets worse. Okay? It gets real bad because you're focusing all your attention on that. But when you're a visionary, meaning you're the deliberate creator of your own reality, and so you have a vision, you have a desire, you have a point of attraction that you're looking at that's higher than anything. So when these circumstances, events, and all those things happen in your life, because you have your vibrational setting point set to that which you want versus that what you don't want, you're continuously looking at what you want. Therefore, the negative realities that are trying to subside within your current reality, it has to move out the way. It has to move out the way. It's like, yo, move, right? Your reality is like, move out the way. Boom, 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 move out the way. Okay, this circumstance happened and move. Next, right? And that's kind of the attitude that you have to have about life. Consistently, I see people on defense all the time. But you have to be on the offense of life. That's what my boss, my CEO, Mr. Howard, he says. He's like, be on the offense of life. Because as you make these places, you do these different things, there's no need to be on the defense. Defense for what? Now, let me make my last point for this thing shuts me out. The practical attention to any subject to the law of attraction delivers circumstances to match your habitual dominant vibration. Powerful beliefs will always be played out in your experience. So in conclusion, watch what you're thinking. Watch the things that you say. Watch those things because they're important. And it all plays out in your experience. The question is, what kind of experience do you want to be played out? And whatever experience it is that you want to be played out, think those thoughts. All right? This is Lit Chat Lounge with Khadijah Toto, your mindset facilitator. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Peace.